Let's continue our spooky urban legends roll call. Today, we're going to get into some spooky, ghostly stories, some vengeful spirits, and we'll find out the Japanese have the best vengeful spirits. And then some urban legend classics we'll end with, some of the best ones, some of the most famous ones. That's up next on Hollow Weird World. Ooh, I don't know, scary.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Weird World Podcast.
The Hollow Weird World Podcast for this month.
We're in spooky season, even further now.
We
It's
are.
getting close. Getting close to Friday the 13th.
Ooh, is it really? There's a
Yeah.
Friday the 13th in October?
Yes.
Oh my God, we're going to do a special edition episode. Edition? Can I say edition for that? You always get mad at me when I say edition rather than episode.
Well, this episode is going to be posted on Thursday the 12th.
Oh, well, we might have to do a special one tomorrow, guys, on Friday the 13th. I mean, come on. I don't know.
Let's just read the script of Friday the 13th.
Let's
the movie.
do that. That sounds riveting.
With descriptions of all the gory deaths.
Okay. Agreed.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay. Well, here we go, Dean, part 2.
Part 2 of spooky urban legends. We're going to start with dangerous, creatures, people, and also I've lopped that in with vengeful spirits as my next category. As you remember from the first time, from part 1, we talked about some, kind of gross out things. Remember the spider bite that turned out to be a bunch of spiders, which I embellished a bit, and I thought to good effect. And then we looked at curses and ended up with kind of something similar today, which we had kind of scary creatures like Bloody Mary and Freddy Krueger's inspiration. Yeah. Today we're going to go with more of that vengefulness, but it's I'm not going to lie, it's pretty similar. So one urban legend, which I guess you could call them an urban legend a little bit, is black-eyed kids.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Black-eyed kids we described in episode, Carrie, do you know?
No.
107.
Good job, Dean.
I know. I rarely look that up, but I did today. So since you can listen to a full episode of them on 107, we'll leave it to that. But mainly, just as a quick reminder, black-eyed kids are usually teens, sometimes even young teens that have completely black eyes, and they come up to your car window or a door or maybe your house door, and they want you to let them into your house or car. And presumably bad things happen if you do that. So don't do that. And they are very scary because they're spooky and they're kids and they have black eyes.
Black eyes meaning?
Completely black eyes. Cold black eyes.
Their
all of their eye.
eyeball.
Their whole eyeball is black. No sclera whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the white of the eye, by the way. I didn't look
Good
that
job,
up.
Dean.
Thanks.
Because, black eye typically means you got punched in the eye.
No, these are the eyeballs. Yeah. No, that'd be weird if just like abused children were trying to get into your house. That would be a very different kind of urban legend.
And you'd be a horrible person.
You
for
would be
not
awful
letting
for
them in.
that, not letting them. Yes, let's be clear. Thank you, Carrie. If kids show up at your doorstep and they have the traditional kind of black eyes and they look fearful, you should probably let them in and call the police.
Yes.
Okay. Next up is something that I've never heard of. It's called the Nal Ba. I'm positive I'm mispronouncing that. It's from India. It's spelled Naale. Second word Baa, like Ba sheep. But
Yeah.
I assume it's not pronounced with a little tremor in your voice.
Probably.
And it's an urban legend about a malevolent spirit that would dress as a bride. And she would, not unlike black-eyed kids, she would show up at your house and try to get you to let her inside your home.
Ooh.
Once, if you did though, black-eyed kids legend, you remember there was a couple of stories that said, oh, these people died or something like that. There's this older couple that, kind of bad things happened. They got sick or something like that. In this case, though, it's a little more direct. If you let the Nal Ba in your door, you're going to die. She's going to kill you. It's going to kill you, whatever it is. The only way you can escape the wrath of the Nal Ba is to apparently write her name on your door. And I guess that drives her away. I don't know if the name is Nal Ba always, or if it's the specific name of this creature. So if it's not a ball, we've got it covered. So if we have a scary woman in a wedding gown come and try to get into the house, we can write Nall Ball. Do you remember how I spelled it? It was just seconds ago.
Yeah.
What was it?
NAALEBAA.
Good.
But
I'm just getting prepared.
So we better go do that tonight.
That I don't know. I'm not positive. I don't know.
Because you'd have to open your door
you would.
to do it.
But maybe
while she's there.
If there's more than one person, maybe as she's throttling one of the family members, the other can quickly write her name on, and then she's got to go.
So in India, do 50% of the front doors have Nall Ball written on them?
I don't know, is 50, Carrie? But the statistics I've looked at say it's 32.4%. I have no idea.
That's
Carrie.
my question.
I don't know. I'm going to assume that no, not a ton of doors have Nall Ball. That'd be cool. People think, oh, is that Urdu for welcome? I'm confused. Oh, is it no solicitors? Oh, that's so okay.
Well, in a way, it is no solicitors.
And it's a little more specific than that. It's not Jehovah's Witnesses who knock on your door. And then, by the way, if you have a dog and your dog is barking, they knock on it and stay there longer so the dog continues to bark because they are dicks. True story actually has happened. So next up is another one we covered in episode 203. That alone should probably tell you what this is, I'm assuming. Go ahead, Carrie. Tell the people what it is.
I don't know.
Slender Man.
Oh.
We did cover Slender Man. Slender Man was this scary, had really long arms and lives in the woods and supposedly would kill kids. And of course, as we know, this creature was completely invented in 2009 by a guy named Eric Knudsen, who did it as wasn't it like a graphics arts contest or something like that, or something like that. You can check out the episode 203. And so it was fake. It was fake from the get-go. Obviously, this one was very weird because it did kind of develop a cult-like following among many teenagers, especially female teenagers.
And younger.
And tweens even. And who came to believe that Slender Man was a real creature and was out there. And of course, there was a horrific case, an actual case where, was it two friends stabbed and killed their other friend?
No, she didn't die.
Oh, she didn't die.
No.
Stabbed their other friend over, I honestly can't remember. I didn't go back and re-listen to episode 203, but
thinking that would, I don't know, put them in Slender Man's good graces or something like that.
As a solid for Slender Man.
Yes.
So that's not good. That's
a terrible case involving mental illness and stuff. So.
That's when spooky urban legends can go bad and cause bad things. So let's hope that doesn't happen as often. The Nall Ball thing is bad too. Because if people are defacing the doors with those words they don't need to, that's that.
You could write it in very beautiful script. It could be nice.
I'm kind of wanting to do that.
You could needlepoint.
Oh, you know what? You could crochet it, Carrie. You could crochet it and hang it. Is that possible? Could you crochet letters? Is that a thing?
Well, sure.
Okay, get on it. This seems like a no-brainer.
I could embroider it. That might
before Halloween, I'm going to expect to see. I want kids to come up to our door and go, "What the hell is that crochet up there? This weird lady, let's not go here and ask for candy. I'm scared. Mommy, take me home."
It's not going to happen.
Cropsey. You ever heard of Cropsey?
Yeah.
Cropsey's a Netflix movie about Cropsey. Cropsey was supposedly this person who lived in the abandoned Willowbrook. The legend, the urban legend was that he lived in the Willowbrook, or is even an inmate of the Willowbrook State penitentiary. I'm not sorry, like an insane asylum.
Yeah.
And I want to say Staten Island. Am I right?
I believe so.
And that he was he killed people with axes. He was a serial killer. He's this boogeyman of Staten Island based on this actual kind of abandoned building in the woods of Staten Island. Staten Island, for those of you who don't know, is one of the 5 New York boroughs. It's south of Manhattan.
Yeah.
Over there on the northeast coast of the United States. Now, as I mentioned last time in part 1, some of these are going to be, at least have a kernel of truth to them. Some of these are urban legends. I'm assuming I didn't ask you about the Nall Ball. I didn't ask you about Slender Man because we know Slender Man was not true. How about Cropsey, Carrie? Is Cropsey some part of that urban legend true?
Well, in that it's a real place and a real abandoned building that was some sort of institution.
He was the urban. I should have mentioned the urban legend also said that he had a hook for a hand. Does that give you a hint? Should that give you a hint about the validity of this urban legend?
I don't believe that
Yeah.
any part of there's a real
Okay.
guy out there killing people or abducting children or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
He would
said
like
that he's
disembowel
done.
kids with his hook, or
Yeah.
sometimes he'd kill them with axes. So he's out there hunting. He's this former asylum person who escaped
Yeah.
and maybe lived like under it or something like that. And he went out and killed kids. And any missing kid on Staten Island,
Yeah.
or even a kid who was late for dinner, was killed by cropsy.
Yeah. No, I don't believe that.
But there was some truth to this. It turns out, a man named Andre Rand. He worked as a janitor at the Willowbrook State School. It's a school for kids. It shut down in 1987. So it wasn't an insane asylum,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't this inmate or something like that.
Well,
but
what was it?
it was a school.
A school.
It says a state school. I don't know if it was like, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it was like, it's for kids. So, but it didn't, there's a connotation that it wasn't just like an elementary school.
Right.
So I'm not sure what that means exactly.
Is it a residential school?
I
Is
don't
it
know.
like a juvenile hall kind of?
This is something I should have
School?
checked into in my
Yeah.
research. This is something I did not check into in my research, though. I
don't
don't think I've
know
seen the
answers
Netflix
to these
movie.
questions.
Have you seen the Netflix movie?
No.
I don't think I have either. So anyway, he was this janitor, and he did I guess he did live in the abandoned building, and he did murder at least one child, or at least he was convicted of killing a child in 1987. He was put on trial, and he's convicted for one child abduction. And there have been a number of child abductions in the 70s and the early 80s before this. He was thought to be guilty of those, all of those or some of those. It was never proven. He denied it, but he was convicted of child abduction in one case in 1987 and sent to prison for a very long time. But again, he was a janitor. It was not a mental institution. He didn't have a hook. He didn't use an axe. He didn't kill anyone as far as we know. It's not impossible he did, though. So in a sense, though, there is a kernel of truth, isn't there? There was this scary guy. He was living in this scary old abandoned building, and he was doing bad things to at least one child.
You said it closed in 1987, and he was arrested and convicted in 1987.
Yes. So he wasn't living there very long, apparently.
Yeah.
So, but what my guess is, he lost his job. This is me guessing again,
Yeah.
not having to, and just kind of like, I don't have a place to live. I'm going to stay here for a little while and kidnap kids.
Yeah.
So how did he kidnap kids?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did he live on the grounds? These are all
Yeah.
kinds of questions I'm asking myself, who did not do the research. Again, I'm apologizing to the listeners. For
This
not having-
says it was an institution for children with disabilities.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how easy it would have been for me too, because Carrie's doing it in real time on her phone.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just pure laziness on my part.
And there were questionable practices and questionable conditions and unorthodox medical practices.
When it was closed, was that why it was closed?
Yeah.
Can you just take over the podcast here?
Nope, that's all I got for you.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
How about La Chuza? Got that in your phone, Carrie? No, I didn't think so. This is from South Texas.
Nope.
This is more of a creature now. We're getting into the creatures. This was a giant, scary owl, sometimes called a bruja, which is, I guess it means witch.
Yep.
You knew that?
Yeah.
Really?
I have quite a background in the Spanish language, as you
Okay.
know.
Yes, you
I
do.
know
You knew
why.
Spanish fluently, I believe, in first grade and promptly forgot it by second grade. Do I have that about right?
No, I was in the bilingual program through 6th grade.
Hold on, listeners. She's super proud of this.
Thank you very much.
She thinks it makes her kind of a yardie. She does. She's like, excuse me, I was a little token white girl in the bilingual class. And
There were lots of tokens in that class.
There was how many?
A lot of white
Oh,
kids
was
in
it?
that class.
Was it
Yeah.
mixed? Like 50-50?
I don't know.
It was too long ago. It's way too long ago for you to remember.
But all of the Mexican immigrant children were in my class.
Yes.
And when the
There was
girl
a
from
chola.
Korea came, they put her in our class too.
Really? Because you know what? She
she's-
speaks a not English language. Let's just throw her
Exactly.
in there.
She
She'll
spoke
figure it out.
zero English.
Oh, wow.
So-
Also, zero Spanish,
Yeah, so
I'm
they
assuming.
stuck her in there to learn English and Spanish. Isn't that weird?
Wow, that's brutal, actually.
And then I took Spanish all the way up through
Yeah. So,
10th grade.
and as of now, you know bruja.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Now I know lots of other words.
Well, you know compliento?
No, because that's not a word.
Oh, hi. Asakakalaka. Carrie's favorite Instagram thing is right now is a little boy who has the potato
Carrie's
face.
favorite?
Oh, is absolutely your favorite.
The potato boy.
The potato boy.
Learning Spanish.
His mom is trying to teach him Spanish, and he just is absolutely tortuously mangling almost everything she said. It's freaking hilarious.
I'll put a link to
Okay,
it. I
should-
would drive more traffic to her.
It's very, 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 very funny. So this Bruja, and he'd probably go Shakwaha if she tried to teach him Bruja, and I'm probably mispronouncing it anyway. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess this creature was kind of like a woman by day and would turn into this big, giant, scary owl by night, and she was a kind of a vengeful spirit a little bit because it was said that her kids were killed by, I guess, a drunk driver. And so this owl, in the owl, when she's an owl at night, she is on the lookout for any drunks walking out of bars, presumably going to their car because they can get behind the wheel there, and she will attack them and go after them with her call. I'm going to do the owl. This is a pretty good owl imitation, by the way.
Owls don't do that.
Oh, that's right. Owls don't make any sound whatsoever, not even the beating of their wings.
They hoot.
Oh, they do hoot, but they don't hoot when they're going down for their prey.
I don't think so.
Very quiet. So if it's closing time and you're drunk and you're going to drive and you're in South Texas, you better look up in the air as you walk towards your car because you're about to get attacked by the lechuza.
Or how about you don't?
Or call an Uber.
There you go.
Good one, Carrie. Or call, you know what? Even better, call a Lyft. Actually, they're both terrible. So have a friend drive you home.
Call a friend, yes.
Okay. Another one from a previous episode, but I wanted to include because I don't want to, it is an urban legend. We've covered a few urban legends in the past. This is from episode 133, Carrie, which, as you know, covered La Llorona.
Oh, yeah. I did that one, I think.
Yes, you did. It is from Mexico. It's a terrible story about a mother. Her name is Maria, a.k.a. La Llorona. The source I have, it says, like, Maria, a.k.a. La Llorona. Like, that makes perfect sense. Like, explained it there, done. She threw her children into a river and drowned them because her husband wasn't faithful, which makes perfect sense.
Well,
she was freaked out.
Yes.
I'm not going to give her the benefit of doubt. She's a monstrous, murderous person, let's be
Yes.
honest. She felt bad about this, though, right away. So, one strike in her favor. And so legend says that, she kind of hangs out around like canyons and rivers and arroyos after dark and, bemoaning her fate, looking for her kids, going into the water and things like that. And, it can be dangerous if you see her there. She again, is kind of this, she wails and weeps and gnashes her teeth. I'm assuming she gnashes her teeth. I may have made that up because I like the word gnashes because it starts with a G. And she has like this all white outfit. And the urban legend is like, if you make eye contact with her, you can die, or sometimes she can, go after you, try to drown you. Doesn't she still try to drown the kids?
I thought she was trying to take children.
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah. I think she's most menacing towards kids too. Yeah. So if your kids are out by a river at night and they see a lady in white, go. Yeah. Move it. Teach them this.
They made a movie.
Yes, they did.
And wasn't the thing in the movie she goes after abusive parents or something like that?
I didn't see the movie. I think we tied the episode to that movie, but neither of us saw the movie.
Yeah.
I
thought we saw part of it.
I don't think so.
I mean,
did
I
we
can picture some of it.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember. It's a long time ago. Carrie, it was episode 133. It was years ago, sister. Huh. All I can say to you now, Carrie, is techie. Why am I saying that? Because it's our next creature. Oh. The techie is a ghost of a woman, or sometimes said to be a schoolgirl, maybe in her teens. And she was, I guess, walking home. This is from Japan. I should have probably mentioned that.
Yeah.
And she was walking home, and they have a lot of rail lines in Japan, don't they? So she was walking along a railroad track, and what do you think happened to her?
We learned from last episode that's a terrible idea.
Horrible idea.
You might slip and fall or catch on fire. And
yes. Well, that one, she caught on fire and then ran toward the train for help. That's a little bit extenuating circumstance. This one, not so much. She slipped and fell. Train came over, cut her in half.
Yes.
In half. Top half, bottom half. Now it is said that she's very angry that she died that way. Although if you think about it, she only has herself to blame, doesn't she? But she haunts these train stations, even
Yeah.
in like, cities and urban areas, hence urban legend, although we both agree that the name urban legend is a misnomer.
Yeah.
But how does she haunt you? She's got no legs. Doesn't matter. She crawls along the ground using her arms and elbows along railroad tracks, walking, coming after you at night, I guess. And apparently, how sounds are different in different languages?
Yes.
Like ducks don't say quack, or
Yeah.
dogs don't. In France, the dog doesn't say roof; it says huv. I don't know what it is, but some are very different sounds.
Yes.
Right. So this apparently, her dragging herself along her hands and elbows produces the sound techie techie.
Oh, got it.
Don't know why or how that could be true. Let's try it.
If she's really fast.
Doesn't sound like techie techie. Maybe she's really fast.
Techie,
Yeah.
techie. Yeah.
Techie techie. Good. Sure, Carrie. You're just saying techie techie fast.
Techie,
Okay.
techie, 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 like that.
Yes, something
If
like
she's
that.
scurrying along.
That's-
Techie, 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 that's
that's-
scary. That would be very scary.
Very scary. If you saw a half woman
Yes.
quickly propelling herself on her elbows and hands towards you on a railroad track, yeah, you'd be scared.
Yeah.
And I think
would
you should
very
be scared. I'd be scared. I'm scared now just thinking about it. So if she catches you, she's going to slice you in half because she apparently has a scythe. Doesn't make a ton of sense that she does, or how she carries it with her, because she's got to propel herself with those same arms. So I'm not sure. Maybe she has a belt. Maybe she
carrying it in her teeth.
Maybe she carries it in her teeth, a scythe in her
She
teeth.
has ghost powers.
I guess so.
I
guess so. I guess we shouldn't try to be so literal
No.
or realistic here. But she's fast. She is very fast. She has been known to keep up with cars.
Oh,
So she's chasing a car.
So she is going tick, 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 tick.
That's good. I want you to say tick, 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 a lot. And if she catches up to you, she's going to ask you where her legs are. And if you want to live, you have a specific reply when she asks you, hey, bro, where are my legs? You have to say, Mission Expressway. Or you tell her they're on the Mission Expressway. I saw them. I just drove right by them. If you hurry now, I'm sure you can get them before a truck runs over them. Yeah. So tell her they're on the Mission Expressway.
It has to be the Mission Expressway.
Apparently
you can't
it
just say anything.
No, you got to say the Mission
distract
Expressway.
her?
Yeah. I don't know what city she's in. She's maybe presumably Tokyo. I don't know. But that's what you have to say. And if she says that, she'll go, okay, thanks for your help. And she'll crawl fast towards the Mission Expressway, and then you can escape. Okay?
Nice.
So there's at least a decent solution for that. It's kind of like the Nalba. Put her name on the door and you're safe. So it's good that most of these urban legends do have safety clauses.
Yes.
They have ways that you can wiggle out of them usually at some point, which is normal.
Only none of the American ones have safety clauses, I've noticed.
Oh, I'll try to think now, but yeah, you're right. They probably don't. No, they don't give them safety clauses in America. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
Okay. Akamanto also comes to us from Japan. It's Japanese for red cloak. Akamanto is male, not a female, and has a red cloak or cape and also a red mask. So Akamanto haunts schools and also public restrooms.
Oh.
And has a liking for the last stall in the women's bathroom. So a male spirit with a red cape and a red mask will go hang out in the last stall at the women's bathroom. This may not be a spirit. This may just be a gross pervert.
Huh.
So the idea is that if you say you're doing your business in that last stall in the bathroom, women, and you hear a male voice ask you from the other side of the stall, first of all, I hope you have your cell phone and dial 911 because there's a man in the bathroom.
Well, yeah.
But if they ask you, hey, do you want red paper or blue paper? You're in trouble because that is Akamanto. Not just because there's a man on the other side and you're taking a piss, but you now know it's Akamanto, and he's asked you this incredibly important question. Your life is going to depend on it. And so if you say red paper, red, what does red mean?
Blood.
Blood. You are going to meet a horrific bloody death at the hands of Akamanto. But if you say blue paper, what is blue sometimes associated with?
Cold, ice.
You're close. Also, lack of oxygen. Your face turns blue. So if you say blue paper, you're going to be suffocated to death. You will be asphyxiated. So there's not a good answer here.
I'd say white because that's the only kind of toilet paper I know of.
I don't think it's toilet paper. Maybe it is. Is it toilet paper? I did not assume that. It's funny that you assumed that. It just said he'll ask you, do you like red paper or blue paper?
Yeah.
Or he will ask want. Yeah, you
Yeah,
know
if
what?
you're in a toilet, that's what you're
I guess
thinking.
so, but I'd say, you know what? I'm good. I have it here inside.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'm not going to answer that question. I guess that's the right answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
You
Also,
can't.
I never go in the last stall.
Is that the reason, Akamanto?
No,
Why?
because I always go in the first stall if I
Why?
can. Because typically that's the cleanest because
first stall?
it gets used the least.
Why does it get used the least?
Because people want to go furthest from.
Oh, the hand washing station, the sink.
Yeah.
Is that why?
Yeah.
These are the first ones next to the sink, and people are right there washing
And
their
more
hands while
people,
you're taking a piss.
and more people are going by the first one.
That's
so
true.
They think if you go to the last one, fewer people are could maybe peek in and see you or whatever.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that I go in the first one because
You've given stalls a lot more thought than I have because
I'm a woman.
Yes, that's true. So you're 100%
We have to give more
stalls.
thought to most things that
That's
men
true.
don't have to think
That's
about.
true. That's true. Okay. Huh. I just realized now that your life is a living hell. So if you say red paper, you get killed bloody. If you say blue paper, you get killed by asphyxiation. If you try to confuse this creature, this spirit, and by asking for any other kind of paper, I'm going to go with lilac. Then he's going to drag you down into hell.
Oh, no.
So the only way you can save yourself from Akamanto is to just, it says, the thing I says is, quote, simply refuse his offer and run, end quote. So, I mean, can you imagine somebody just messing with women? Even another woman, because they don't want to get in trouble, just going, do you want red paper or blue paper? And the woman just screams, bursts out the door, and flees the bathroom. You'd feel like mission accomplished. So that is Akamanto. There's another one from Japan. Japan, that's the name of a lot of people, I've heard it both ways. Japan, and I'm going to mess it up. This is where we need Jack or Aaron. It's Kuchisaki Oma. It means slit-mouthed woman.
Ooh.
This one is spooky. This one is creepy. So have you heard of it?
No.
I vaguely have heard it before I started doing research for this episode. I had heard of it, maybe even from Jack or Aaron.
I wouldn't be surprised if they've heard of it.
Yeah, they probably heard about it in
They
Japanese
know
class,
lots of these
which
things,
is great job teaching our kids Japanese spooky legends. Which I sound like I'm mad. I'm not. I truly
I don't know
applaud
if they learned spooky legends, but they have the internet, so
the internet's there.
Yes.
Well, this is a vengeful spirit, another kind of vengeful ghost urban legend, and this is this beautiful woman, and she's seen just roaming around streets somewhere in some village or city at nighttime, and she always wears a face mask, and she's always carrying a pair of scissors, but I guess she holds the scissors like behind her back, so she's trying to hide this pair of scissors that she has.
Yeah.
And so if you meet Kuchisaki Oma, the slit-mouthed woman, when you're out, having a walk like she is at night, she is also going to come up to you and ask you a question. Her question is a very difficult question for anyone. It's, am I beautiful? Which is never a comfortable question. There's no right way to answer that. I don't think. You certainly can't say no or like, 6, 7, a solid 7. You're not bad. That's tough. That's
Aren't you supposed to be neutral? Aren't you supposed to not tell her?
Well, it's a yes or no
Yes
question.
or no?
Am I beautiful? And you're supposed to, if you say yes, she's going to take off that cover and show you her, her mouth has been slit along her cheeks there. So it's essentially a massive maw of a gaping mouth. It's slit from ear to ear. So it makes, and she's kind of smiles and those terrifying, huge smile across her entire face.
So if you say yes, she doesn't believe you.
She doesn't. So she asks you again. And she says, am I beautiful? And if you say no now, you're going to die. So I guess the strategy here is you have to say yes and say yes twice. But the problem with that is that, you think it's beautiful? Okay, then.
I'll do it.
And she takes she takes the scissors and she slits both sides of your mouth just like hers to make you just as beautiful as she is.
So what if you say, you're okay?
That is basically it. You have to tell her that she is average.
Yeah.
Which is, again, what if she is just a woman in a mask because of COVID and she's not had a slit mouth and some woman comes up to you and says, am I beautiful? And you say, you're like a 5. You are dead even average. I can, and then she takes off her mask and she's not a slit mouth woman. You have now made an enemy for life. I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's okay because it's very rude to go up to somebody and ask that question.
That is rude. You're right. That's a good point. What would you do if someone came up and said, "Am I beautiful?" Would you say average? Now you would, because you don't know if that's a slit mouth woman.
I would say everybody's beautiful in their own way.
That is a really diplomatic answer. That's good. That's very tactful. You should be a diplomat.
True beauty.
Go on. I'm loving it already. Finish that sentence, please.
Does not lie in what you look like.
You were just thinking that off the top of your head right now.
Well, of course.
Okay. Good.
Did you think I was going to come up with
I thought it was like an aphorism.
Beautiful quote or something.
Some wonderful Shakespeare. Hanko is a girl in the bathroom. I told you we'd come back to bathrooms now, didn't I? There's a lot of bathrooms here. In Japanese, it's...
Oh, the Japanese, they love their toilets. They make
do.
the best toilets ever, too.
That's a fact.
Yep.
Tori no Hanako-san. I guess Hanako-san is toilet. So that means girl in the bathroom, a girl in the toilet, something like that, right? In Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll just call it Hanako. I've seen it spelled Hanako and Hanko, so I'm not sure which is correct. I'm going to say Hanako. Okay. Just they have a lot of syllables. So Hanako is the spirit, and she also was a young schoolgirl, and she died in the bathroom of her elementary school because she was bullied and she committed suicide.
Oh, that's
so she was
terrible.
bullied. She went to the bathroom in elementary school too,
Yeah.
and she committed suicide in the bathroom of her school, and now she haunts that school as this spirit, this Hanako girl in the bathroom kind of vengeful spirit. I don't know if she's vengeful. She's very scary. So it's become almost like a rite of passage. Kids will go into the bathroom and like almost Bloody Mary like kind of try to summon this spirit.
Yeah.
And apparently the urban legend is that you have to go to the third floor bathroom, because apparently all the schools, and this must be Tokyo again, we have multi-level schools, and you knock on the third stall and you knock 3 times. After this, you say, "Are you there, Hanako-san?" And if there's even the tiniest little whispered reply, you get the hell out of there, because that means she is there, obviously. Yeah. If you're too slow, though, and she catches you, or if you're stupid enough to go into that stall, she's going to drag you into the toilet, train spotting like, and you'll never be seen again. You'll disappear. So she's blamed for the disappearance of children who were dumb enough to go to the third stall on the third floor, knock 3 times, and ask for Hanako. Don't do it.
Why would they do it?
It's a challenge, a dare. Okay. Why would you go in and
Bloody Mary?
Do Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary? Uh-oh. I may have just summoned Bloody Mary. Just
because you got to be in front of a mirror.
Oh, that's right. Whew. Saved our ass there. That's why. I mean, kids do it. I've done Bloody Mary. You've probably done Bloody Mary.
Hundreds of times.
Hundreds of times, Carrie?
Probably.
That's concerning.
Went to a lot of slumber parties.
When was the last time you did Bloody Mary? If you say within the last 10 years, I'm going to be a little nervous.
Probably not.
Okay, good.
Unless we ever do it with the kids.
I think we did, which is horrible parenting. I think we did. We did Bloody Mary briefly in an old episode. Yeah. A Halloween time episode. And all the kids were old enough to know better by then. But small children, did we do that? Because that's awful if we did. I don't know.
Probably not.
Let's say no. I mean, for legal reasons.
We did other questionably scary things.
Yeah, we did. We freaked him out with lifting the table. Yes. All kind of seance-like. Yeah. And Aaron and Rachel and Jack freaked them out and ran upstairs at full speed.
Rachel, difficult child she was. Hi, Rachel. She was reading a book at the dinner table, remember? And when we did that, she threw her book. Unless I'm misremembering.
I think you're misremembering, because we were doing like a fake seance.
Another thing.
We were doing a seance, and you and I just made eye contact and lifted the table with our knees.
We didn't even plan it.
No, it was
just
completely unplanned. Yeah. Did it, lifted the table, and they shit their pants and ran away. So now that was something different. I don't know what the book throwing thing was. That could have just been a temper tantrum.
She still could have had her book at the table and just threw it and left.
Maybe so. Now we're going to do warnings. Warnings, and there's some classic ones here. Of course, one of the most classic ones that was considered kind of a warning is the hook.
Yeah.
You know about the hook, right? This is a very, very famous urban legend that centers on kind of a serial killer who has a hook for a hand. Cropsy notice was given a hook for a hand. A hook for hands that's freaky. That's pretty scary. I get it. If you have a serial killer story, give him a hook. Might as well. Yeah. You know what? Give him a hook for a foot just to make it difficult. Give him 2 hooks. It's hook foot. Oh my God. Run. He can't run that fast. He has hook for feet.
Did you ever know anybody in real life who had a hook for a
Never.
hand?
Never. It's not a thing. Why would you have a
Oh.
hook? You'd have a prosthetic hand.
It absolutely is a thing.
You'd have a mannequin hand.
Back in the
A
olden
manna
days,
hand.
it was.
Oh,
Remember,
yeah.
they were like
Yeah.
2 metal,
Yes.
vaguely hooks. They didn't go all the way.
No.
It was more like an L.
I did
but
not
it was
know
kind of
one.
like a hook, and they would clamp.
Yeah, but this is an actual
Together?
sharp hook, like a
Yes.
pirate thing, which in the
But
20th
those
century
things could have done some damage if they wanted to, I'm sure.
You sound a little paranoid. You're now being pretty rude to people without a hand who've lost a hand due to some kind of accident that was not their own
Dean,
fault. Carrie, I'm
real
disappointed.
hands can do damage.
Okay.
So
All right, Carrie. Now you're just being weird. So one night, this is serial killer going around. He's like a slasher killer, right? Maybe he kills you with his hook. Let's say he does. And
obviously,
of course, here's where the urban legend comes in. And what are urban legends famous for? Kind of morality tales, aren't they? This is why I call them this kind of warnings, because he targets, like the Zodiac Killer, kissing couples in cars, in parked cars. That's who this hook serial killer would target. So one time, this couple is in there, and sometimes they're, there's the story says, oh, they're listening to the radio and they're listening about this story, telling about this hook serial killer, and all of a sudden they start hearing scratching on the door of their car outside. They look over, they don't see anything or anyone out there, but they hear like a scraping or a scratching sound, and they freak out, get from the back seat to the front seat, or they're already in the front seat. They turn the car on, tear away, drive fast as far as they can. And when they get someplace else, sometimes people say, oh, they went like to a gas station or a well-lit area or something like that. Sometimes it's just far enough away where the person couldn't be pursuing them. And they open the door, and sure enough, the hook is stuck on the door handle of the car. When they sped away, they ripped the hook off the killer's hand, who was seconds away from getting in that car and murdering them. Dun, dun, dun. That is the famous hook story. And that's pretty much all there is to the hook story. A lot of these urban legends are very, very, brief stories. You can embellish them as long as you want. But, give a backstory to the hook. Maybe the hook has reasons for doing this. Maybe the hook's family was murdered. Something like that. You can do that if you want. That's great.
Well,
Flashbacks.
On Lover's Lane.
Yep. That could have happened. So that's the famous hook. Hold on 1 second. So there are some variations to the story, by the way. Some people say have the couple be murdered, like the hook is an escape from a mental institution just recently, and they're hearing that on the car radio when they're attacked by the hook. But that's kind of dumber, because how would you know?
Yeah.
You wouldn't, because they're both dead. So the better one and the more common one is the one I just told, where they flee and they escape and they have a hook on their car. How about high beams in the rearview mirror? There's not really a name for this, but it's also a pretty well-known urban legend. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
So this is a woman is driving home, and is always a lone woman because there's vulnerability, and it's always at night, and it kind of has to be. You'll see why.
High beams.
High beams. There you go. Otherwise, it'd be like, is that person in broad day? Is that? I think the high beams are on. I mean, they're flat. I don't know. The woman's being followed by. It could be a truck. Could be a car. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's like a semi truck, so it's even scarier. And they're higher, and the high beams go right into their eyes, then blind them. But this person following them starts flashing their high beams, and sometimes gets really close and tailgates them and tries to like catch up, but the woman pulls ahead, and sometimes even rams the vehicle from behind. It's like, oh my God, this person's trying to kill me. Nowadays, of course, you 911. This urban legend comes before cell phones, but let's say her cell phone is out of power and it's 2023, okay? And she thinks, oh my God, I'm being stalked, I'm being pursued, I'm going to be murdered. So she flees, and she finally gets to some safety. Again, you can have the story, she gets to a garage, she gets to a store, sometimes she even gets home. And in some versions, she gets home, and she flees into her garage and shuts the door, and where the person in the car can't get in and follow her. And then when she starts to go to her house, the person in the back of her seat jumps out and attacks her. The other version of this is that she gets home, or she gets to this lighted area, and the person pursuing her comes up to her and runs toward her, and she's like, call the police, freaking out, he's going to kill me. And she says, ma'am, there's someone in the back seat. I saw his face. Every time he rose up because he was going to kill you from behind because he was in the back seat, I flashed my lights or I caught up and rammed you to stop him from doing it. So this person saved her life. And that's why it wasn't pursuing her at all. In other times, she stops finally and she gets gas. And apparently she's less scared in this way.
Yeah.
And or sometimes it's not you don't have our person in the headlights doesn't, she's lost them, let's say.
Yeah.
This thinks, okay, I'm safe. And she gets to a gas station and she goes in to get gas and pay the cashier. And the cashier says, don't look right now. But there's a man in your car with a knife or a gun or something like that. He's in the back seat of your car. And that's, again, explains the person who she's just lost was flashing the high beams at her, was to save her life again. So there's various versions of this urban legend. But, or sometimes they'll like speak to her, man, there's a problem with your credit card. Can you come into the station, please? Or something like that. And say, hey, I'm calling the police right now. There's a man in your car. So there's pretty cool ones, which could happen now. There's also another version of this, which I didn't know about, and it's actually kind of cool. This is the same thing as a woman. She's in a car. But in this version, she's like walking to her car in the parking lot. Every time she tries to get into her car, some crazy person leaps out from the bushes or something like that from behind another car and just starts, yelling at her and kind of almost like gibberish, and it's hard to understand. And like will slam the hood of the car or something like that. And the woman who's being freaked out by this crazy person runs away and escapes. Or sometimes she gets into the car and she flees, but every time she stops like at a stop sign or something, this crazy woman's out there and again comes out of a bush and yells at her and says, so it becomes kind of supernatural, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because she's able to keep up with her, right?
Yeah.
And the woman finally says, oh my God, I can't shake this crazy person who is be able to keep up with me even when I'm driving away from her. So she goes to the police station and she runs inside the police station. She tells this story. This crazy woman is following me, and every time I stop, she jumps out, yells at me, and slams her hands on my car. I need help. And the police officer says, okay, just calm down. We're going to drive you back to your house or maybe some other safe place, something like that. And so we'll go with you to your car right now and let's get your stuff and we'll drive you to safety, like to your house or something like that. So they go back, and sure enough, when the police go with her to her car, they find a killer is hiding in the back seat behind, going to kill her. And so they correlate the story. Who is the crazy woman who's shouting weird stuff? It's the past victim of that same killer who was killed in her car, and now she's been trying to warn. She's a ghost. She's a non-vengeful ghost. She's a helpful ghost who's trying to warn the woman that the killer's in the back seat. Don't go in your car.
I see.
So that's interesting. I had never heard that. So either trying to warn the woman, or maybe even make sure that the killer is caught, or maybe both, because in this case, the killer is caught. So it's a little bit of a morality tale as well.
Because when she goes to the police station and goes inside, the killer stays.
The killer, like an idiot, says, I'll just wait for her at this police station. I'm not going to look up, so I don't know where I am. I hope she's not at a police station, that's for sure. Yeah, apparently so. Carrie, don't question it. This is a weird one because it's not really an urban legend so much as a movie character. His name Candyman. But there's a little bit of an urban legend because there's a famous scene in Candyman. It's a movie from 1992. It was remade in 2021. It's based on a short story, as you know, by Clive Barker. And
it's also a very famous song.
Not that kind of Candyman. I believe that's a Sam Davis Jr. No, this was played by Tony Todd, played Candyman in the original movie, and I think there's some sequels there. He was a person, he was a black guy who was murdered for having a relationship with a white woman, like in the late 19th century. Okay. Like a long time before the movie takes place. And he's kind of, again, something of a vengeful spirit. But the famous scene was he burst through a medicine cabinet as his victim is looking at the mirror and kills the woman. And so I know you're saying, is that really an urban legend? It kind of is, because people said, oh, that's a thing. That can happen. A murderer can come through the medicine cabinet and kill you. And so you can have little urban legend stories about that happening, right?
Yeah.
So, again, I'm probably tipping you off here, but is there any basis in fact for that story?
Absolutely.
And what is it? Give me the specifics. You're just guessing then, aren't you?
No, there's a woman in Chicago.
Oh my God, how'd you know that?
Because
why?
Back in my Weird World days, when I used to like to do gory crimes and stuff.
Now all you do is psychology.
On my list.
Okay. Oh, was it really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
So apparently, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, she kept hearing things
Yeah.
in her apartment, and she thought it sounds like somebody's in the wall or behind my medicine cabinet, in my bathroom, whatever. And she kept calling, I don't know, the super of her building or something. I think it was a big apartment building. And I don't know if they ever came and checked or what they checked for, but, you know, they always poo-pooed her concerns. And then sure enough, one day, that woman got murdered.
She did. And it was in 1987 in Chicago, as you say. Her name was Ruthie McCoy.
Yeah.
And it was basically a huge apartment complex that was built as a low-income project, you know, the projects, quote unquote, one of those. So they're pretty terrible and pretty violence-ridden how they were. And she did, like you said, she heard sounds, she thought something's going on, and then there was a 911 call in 1987 where it was caught up very quickly, and it was a gang of intruders. They entered her house to rob it, and they murdered her. Turns out these buildings were built so cheaply.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know when exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised in the 40s or 50s, something like that. And they were built in a way so they wanted to make it easy to check electrical wiring. So the medicine cabinets would just basically pop off.
Yeah.
And the one right behind it in the next unit would also pop off. So that's what they're doing. And there wasn't much in between, you know, some wiring and some boards and such like that. So they basically were able to access her apartment from the apartment on the other side through her medicine cabinet and murder her.
Yeah.
So they're called the Grace Abbott Housing Project. I think it's been demoed since then. It was this just really horrible, cheap, shoddy construction. And so so some people think, oh, that's where the Candyman got the idea. No, Clive Barker's story predates that. It's called They Came In Through the Bathroom Mirror. It was before 1987. So it was his idea. I don't know. Maybe the murderers got the idea from Clive Barker. I don't know. Thanks a lot, Clive. Now we're going to go to creepy ones. They're just, I have a few of them are very small. Some we're going to get to eventually are like I said, I promised you we'll get some more famous ones besides the Hook and the Rearview Mirror. But we'll start with some ones that I've never heard of. Quite a few that I've never heard of. One is called the Hatchet House. It's also sometimes called Heartbeat Bridge. It comes to us from Nebraska, where there's an urban legend there in Nebraska about this school teacher, you know, who knows, decades ago, some long time ago. That supposedly the story is the school teacher went insane and he murdered all of his students in his one-room school, you know, building by decapitating them, by cutting off all their heads. Obviously, this never happened, but it said that it did. And the school teacher, a woman, by the way, she then took all their heads and...
You just said he.
Oh, did I say he? I mean, I should have said she, my bad. She took off all their heads and put them in their desk.
God.
The pop-up, I guess, the lidded desks that they used to have. And then she also took out their hearts. And she took her hearts and she took them to this nearby bridge. And that's why it's called Heartbeat Bridge, because she threw them all into the water beneath this bridge.
This must have taken her all day long.
It took her a long time, but she had plenty of time. She started in the morning, Carrie.
She would have had to.
Let's say she did.
Yeah.
And people say to this day, walking across Heartbeat Bridge, you can, if you listen on a dark, quiet night, hear the beating hearts of those murdered children.
Okay, are you going to ask me if I think this one is...
Do you think this one is true?
No.
You do not.
What, was she such a strict teacher that all of those students sat at their desks with their hands folded in front of them, waiting their turn to be decapitated?
You were not told you can go. You did not leave her schoolroom. So once, you would just have to, you would sit there. You're so well trained and obedient. Mm-hmm. You would watch all your fellow students decapitated until it was your turn. For sure. Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's not a great story. But it's one of Nebraska's favorite urban legends.
Really?
Apparently.
Very impractical.
There's another one that comes from Romania. And this is more of I guess, it's an urban legend, I guess, is supposedly in Romania, if you see a black ambulance, so an ambulance, but it's not white, it's black, it's painted black, run, especially if you're a kid, because black ambulances are said to roam around the streets and they're looking for kids and they're going to kidnap kids and harvest their organs. And so if a kid goes missing, he's found a couple days later, maybe missing a kidney, that kid was captured by the black ambulance. Yes.
So I'm guessing black ambulances don't really exist.
That'd be really weird.
Yeah.
But the people who do man these black ambulances are at least a little thoughtful because it's said that when they dump the body, the kidneyless or heartless, whatever body, they leave a little bit of money for the funeral.
Oh, that's nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
So they're not all bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a little bit bad, but they're not all bad. Next one is very creepy. This is what you may have heard of this. Tell me if you have. Sometimes people call it the licked hand.
The what?
The licked hand.
Okay.
And it's about a woman. And she's got a pet dog that she's very fond of, and the dog usually, when she's feeling kind of spooky out, she'll make her dog sleep beneath the bed, under the bed, to just make her feel more comfortable. It's a big dog, and then she has this big dog sleep under the bed to make her feel safe when she's alone, right? Yeah. And then one night she is sleeping, and all of a sudden she's woken up by a sound. Where's that coming? She's not, where's that coming from? Is that coming from the bathroom? It sounds like dripping, like something wet is dripping coming from the bathroom. Did I leave the sink on? But she's too afraid to get up and go see if she left the water on, or is the washer doesn't work and she's and something's dripping in the sink. So instead, she just wants to kind of assure herself. So she puts her hand down at the side of the bed, all the way down to the bed, to see if she can pet her dog or touch her dog and make sure her dog is still there and she'll feel safe. And as she's putting her hand down, she feels her hand licked a few times. Okay, so Boris, I'm assuming her dog's name is Boris, is down there beneath my bed like he's supposed to be. I'm okay. I'm going to go back to sleep. So she goes back to sleep. She wakes up. It's daylight out. She gets up. She goes, I better go check that bathroom, see if I got a leaky washer. She goes into the bathroom, and her dog is hanging there from the ceiling, brutally murdered and eviscerated. Its blood dripping into the toilet or the bathtub below.
So who was licking her hand?
Who was licking your hand, you're wondering? Well, written in blood across the medicine cabinet mirror are the words, "Humans can lick hands too."
Yeah. I have heard that one.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gross.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
So is the murderer who killed her dog, weirdly. Usually murderers kill people. Oddly enough, this is a dog-hating murderer. Killed her dog, let it drip, for some reason went under her bed. We're not told why. And then didn't hurt her, just licked her hand.
Yeah.
Apparently didn't want her to find the dog right then. But I guess wanted to, hey, if I lick her hand, she'll go back to sleep and I'll be able to get out of there unscathed.
Yes.
I think that's why.
Yep.
But he's able to kill a large dog.
Yeah.
Okay. So I buy it. So true or false?
Apparently.
Very quietly. Yeah. Or maybe she killed it before. The dog may have been killed before she went to bed. Yeah. Let's assume that.
But she presumably would call the dog to come get under her bed when it's bedtime.
I'm not going to think that way. She's really tired. She was drunk, Jerry. Super drunk. She just fell down. Is when she woke up. Did the dripping noise 2 hours later at 3 a.m. is when she put her hand down there to get licked.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
I like having a big dog because it makes me feel safe at night.
Yes.
And
your big dog is kind of a wimp.
But he will absolutely react to something. So if I hear a noise, or if I think I hear a noise, or, sometimes you're just about to fall asleep and you think you hear something, but you're not sure. Was I starting to dream? Did I really hear that? If he's sound asleep, then I figure all is well. And I don't have to worry.
You're probably right.
I know.
What if he gets deaf then? Then you should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. Let's not think about that.
No.
Hopefully it won't be.
We'll know at that point.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Is Lucky deaf? Okay, we need a new dog that can hear things. The next one I bring you is another classic called The Vanishing Hitchhiker. This is a classic. This is a story that actually has been set in many, many locations. But the idea is actually very straightforward and very brief. You're driving along the town somewhere. You pick up a hitchhiker. Everything seems normal. But then when you get someplace, or sometimes in front of a cemetery, the hitchhiker disappears when you go back to open, and it was never there, or somehow is gone. So I'm going to read you a couple of versions that are said to be true stories. This really happened kind of thing, which of course is the classic hallmark of an urban legend. One comes from Baltimore, outside Baltimore, and a man named Dr. Eckesall said that he was driving home from a country club dance one night. It was on a Saturday night. It's late. And he gets to an intersection. He slows up to stop at the intersection, and he sees this very pretty young girl out there on the street, just walking along the street, thinking, That's weird. And he looks closer, and she's dressed in this really kind of sheer, nice evening gown. Like, what happened? Something happened here. And she turns around and kind of like, they make eye contact. It's like, can I have a lift? Kind of an idea.
Mhm.
Can you drive me somewhere? So he breaks, he picks her up. He says, yeah, sure. I guess he usually has a roadster. For some reason, they always get in the back seat.
Yeah.
They always get in the back seat. Maybe sometimes in these stories, there's a bunch of stuff on the front seat or something like that, but they always get in the back seat. In this case, this version says, yes, oh, I'm sorry, my golf clubs. He put his golf clubs in the front seat because he's an idiot. I think that means he doesn't have a trunk. I think that's why. So he put his golf clubs, some other stuff in the front seat, so she has to get in the back seat. I think that's what they're trying to imply with this anyway.
Okay.
And she goes, okay. And he talks to her and he asked her, what you doing out here? And she says, it's just too long a story. I don't want to talk about it. She's very nice. She says, can you please just take me home? When I get home, maybe I'll explain everything to you. And here's the address. It's over on North Charles Street in this version. And I hope it's not too far away. And he says, absolutely, I'll take you home. He gets it to 1313. Almost blew
Dead
that
end
one.
drive.
North Charles Street. And he says, here we are, looking back, and the seat is empty. So he's thinking, what the hell just happened? So he goes up to the house, of course. She wanted to come here. This is where she lived. And he rings the doorbell. Finally, this nice older couple come to the door. And he says, hey, I just picked up a woman, describes her, a girl, and she wanted to come here. She said she lived here. Is that your daughter, your granddaughter? What's going on? And the woman just nods and says, come in. And they give him some coffee, and they say, yeah, we know what happened. This has happened many other Saturday evenings because our young daughter, or maybe their daughter years ago, was killed walking along that same side of the street by a car, a hit and run at the intersection where he picked her up.
Mm-hmm.
She was killed there, and she's ever since on Saturday night, she's trying to get home to us, and she's never able to make it all the way.
Yeah.
And he's, of course, like, what the hell?
That's a good one.
That is a good one. That's one of the main versions. There's other versions. I don't need to tell them, but in some versions, apparently they've married this to like prophecy. And so they have the hitchhiker, the vanishing hitchhiker, make some kind of a prediction when she's talking to the person who picks her up in the car.
Yeah.
And like, the war is going to end, or some natural catastrophe is going to happen, or sometimes increasingly, I guess lately, it's been the second coming of Jesus is just around the corner. And so these prophets is kind of used as a vehicle to make a prediction, to make a prophecy.
Yeah.
Obviously never turns out to be true. So they've become kind of vanishing prophets. And sometimes now they're said they're turned into a man who looks a little bit like Jesus.
Oh.
Prophesizing something, some kind of foretelling some kind of
Yeah.
disaster or something like that. So that's a newer twist on an old urban legend. I think this urban legend's been around for a long time. It's been around for decades.
Yeah.
Again, I think the car in the early tellings, the cars were really old cars.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to the 1920s or so. That's the vanishing hitchhiker. I'll give you a quick one, then I'll get to another very famous one. The quick one is the roommate, and you can guess this one has a little more, not so much spooky horror as kind of terror. It's this idea that there's two people live in this apartment, right? One is already there, they think, and the second roommate comes home after, like, maybe they had a party, he's a little drunk, and that roommate's bedroom door is open. They look in, the roommate's just is asleep. Like, oh, okay, I won't wake him up. And so they go to their own bedroom and get in bed, and they go to sleep. And they wake up the next morning, and they go in to wake up the roommate because they're still crashing. It seems late, and they shake him, finally turn him over, and their throat has been slit from side to side, blood covering the bed that they didn't see at night when they walked by. And then, again, there's either a note or sometimes there's written blood, like on the wall, and it says something like, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?"
Because the killer was in there.
The killer was still there.
Oh, my word.
That's a scary one.
That is scary.
The other one that I'm going to tell you, the last one that's a real, so I'm going to end with one that's really stupid. So the last real one is another famous one. It's called Body Under the Bed. And it's a little bit similar. The Body Under the Bed, have you heard of this one?
I don't think so.
How about the roommate one, by the way? True or false?
Oh, I'm going to say false.
Okay, yeah, it is.
I've never heard of it.
That's never happened. Body under the bed, though. We'll see about this one. Body in the bed is this idea. It usually takes place in a hotel. And the story is that the same thing, like the hotel, like it's a couple and they went out and they've been out and drinking and stuff like that. They get home and they just crash. They fall to bed, fall asleep right away. They don't notice a horrific smell, a stench that's inside the room because they're so drunk and they're so tired until the next morning when they wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So when they wake up, they look under the bed, and what do you think they find?
A decomposing body.
A decomposing dead body stashed under their bed. Murdered, by the way, not just someone who had a heart attack, crawled under a bed and died. That's the basic gist. Again, you can elaborate that and add details. I'm sure when you tell that story, you'd give it a specific place, you give it a specific hotel, you give it names, all that kind of nonsense. I just gave you the bare bones version of it.
Right.
Do you think that's a true urban legend? A true story, that urban legend?
Do I think that's ever happened?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if it has happened.
It has happened many times, as a matter of fact. There's at least according to the article, I know. Can you imagine that? No. According to the article I read about this, it's happened about a dozen times. At least they found about a dozen newspaper references to this, and that usually it's you come in and you smell the smell right away.
Right away, yeah.
That's much more likely. But there has been some times. There was a case apparently in Atlantic City in 1999 where the person did sleep right over a dead body for the entire night, not smelling it, I guess. There's been cases apparently, allegedly, again, from Colorado, Florida, and Virginia. Have been in 2010 at a Budget Lodge in Memphis. I think it's the brand name, too. So sorry, Budget Lodge. Don't sponsor us, Budget Lodge. Because...
their fault.
No, you're right. Well, really? I mean... You clean the room before the new person comes in, so it kind of is their fault.
Do you think they're looking under the beds?
Well, yes, but these stories usually have a decomposing smell.
But they don't start smelling until they start smelling. So
that's true. That's well said, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, but in this case, the new guest in this hotel room did indeed sleep above the body of someone named Sony Millbrook, who was a missing person at the time, had already been reported missing, and Sony's body was stashed under that bed. In this case, the murderer presumably had put a bunch of fabric softener in the ceiling tiles to try to mask the increasing stench of it. And so have as long as possible before that body was discovered. And here's the problem, though. 3 other occupants had been in that room before the occupant who discovered the body.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's spooky. And that's... gross more than I guess it is spooky.
We better start looking under.
Oh yeah.
Hotel
every
beds.
time now, for sure. You didn't notice me, but last time we were just in Nevada City, I absolutely looked under the bed for a body.
Did you really?
I'm not even kidding.
Oh, God. What about Lake Tahoe? Did you look under?
I probably did. A lot of beds on these things, though, they go all the way to the bottom. They don't. There is no room to stash a body. It depends. Sometimes there depends on the hotel and how old the bed is.
Yeah.
But if there is a room under the bed, oh sure, I'm looking.
Ooh.
Aren't you?
No, I never have.
Okay. Well, you're going to now, though, aren't you?
Yes.
Of course. Thank you. Listeners, if you're now looking under your hotel beds for bodies, you're welcome.
You know what's scarier than a dead body?
What?
A bad guy hiding under there waiting for you.
That's true, too. Good point. I'd rather find a dead body than a bad guy with a weapon.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. Well, good. Well, thanks. Now I'm going to end with something. The only entry in this category. The category is stupid. Because this is the story of a lawyer in Toronto. He had offices, beautiful office, big corner office with big windows on a high-rise office building, many stories up. And this guy was really enamored with how they had safety windows that were unbreakable. And so sometimes when he'd bring like newbie rookie lawyers and stuff like that, he'd impress them, or even like law students, if he was, giving a talk and bringing them to his office, he would impress them by running as fast as he can. He had a big office, and he would literally throw his body into the window, crash into the window, and bounce off it harmlessly. He did it many, many times. He was famous for it. For this reason, he was called the Leaping Lawyer, was kind of his nickname, right? And his name was Gary Hoy. And he was a senior partner in this firm. It was on the 24th floor. On July 9th of 1993, Gary Hoy did his run and leap and smash into the window in front of, I think there were several young law students in this case, I think, if I read it right. And he broke through and fell 24 stories to his instant death because
my
he
God.
finally broke that unbreakable window in his office. Can you tell me if that's true or not? True or false?
I'm going to say it's true.
It is absolutely true.
Yeah.
This happened, as I said, on July 9th, 1993. Gary Hoy, a senior partner, a very good lawyer, was stupid about windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad. So it's not an urban legend. I guess now urban legends aren't urban legends if they're true, are they? This one is 100% true.
So
this is not just sort of an urban legend that's been dressed up or embellished from a kernel of story. This is a literal true story.
So did he actually break the glass, or did he break the seal of the window and the whole thing went out? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It just says that the pane broke and he went plummeting to
Yeah.
his death. I'm not positive. Yeah, that would make more sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That he was damaging every time he did that. He was damaging the
getting it
seal
looser
a
and
little bit
looser.
more every
Yeah.
time. Yeah, probably that. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened.
Yeah, because then it's still unbreakable glass.
That's true.
Glass didn't technically break.
No.
What a dummy.
That's Gary Hoy. Well, I'm sure he's a very nice guy.
No,
He just did something dumb.
I'm going to say he's not a nice guy.
Wow, Carrie. He has family that could be listening right now.
That's not a nice thing to do to people.
What do you mean?
Running out a window like you're going to crash through it.
Well,
he's doing it for the shock value and to horrify people.
Wow. I would have did, bro, that was awesome, and probably done it myself, but not 20 or 30 or 50 times. That's more damn sure. So that is our part 2 of spooky urban legends. Most of them were spooky, not the leaping lawyer, but most of them were. What's your favorite urban legend?
The Hitchhiker.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Huh? The Vanishing Hitchhiker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
It has that great little end.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you see it coming 1,000 miles away, it's still a really interesting. It's a full story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It kind of has a quasi beginning, middle, end.
And it's spooky without being threatening and dangerous and scary.
Like The Hook.
Like you were going to get murdered.
Yeah, or The High Beams.
Yeah.
Something like that. I like The High Beams one because that's also a really clever story. It's like I'm trying, we have that twist where that person was trying to save your life and indeed did save your life. So that's mine.
I like ghost stories.
Tell us what your favorite urban legend is, especially your spooky urban legend. And tell us if you have others. I mean, like I said, I read 150 to distill it to these 80.
Yeah.
How many I told? I told a lot. I wanted to tell a lot. I wanted to share lots of different urban legends. Hopefully many of them you have not heard about. And even some of the famous ones. Maybe if you haven't heard about those, now you have. But if you have some favorites, tell us. We'd love to hear them.
Okie dokies.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe if anybody wants to share an urban legend, maybe we'll share that with the audience later on this month.
And thank you for listening.
Yes.
And everybody be careful tomorrow
don't.
Friday the 13th.
Yes. Don't jump into any windows at high office buildings. In fact, you know what? Never do that. Not even just on Friday the 13th. Never do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.